Jonathan Rump.
All right.
Tell me what kind of teammate he is.
He's a good teammate. He's a guy who's still learning the system, who's still working hard to elevate his game and get better. And I think that's one of the highlights about him is he's not a guy who's resting on his laurels. He wants to get better. He wants to be as good as he can be, and he knows he hasn't reached it.
Do you think he can be an impact guy on Saturday?
I think he can. I think he can. I think he will if he keeps working like he's working.
All right, thank you.
Chris, what's the transition from Aaron to Hudson like?
It's actually one that's not that bad. I've been working with Hudson ever since I got here as a freshman.
Right.
When I was taking second team reps, I was working with Hudson. It wasn't until about 2 years ago where I, in the middle of the season, transitioned to taking all those first team reps that I worked with Aaron extensively. And so before that, I had a lot of work with Hudson, and he's a guy who prides himself in the way that he practices, and he does a great job at it. And so I think for some guys, it's a transition. For me, it's not that bad, and I think it's a transition for Hudson, not necessarily in what he's doing, but mentally. And I think he's taking on the role really well.
On the field, how are their personalities different?
Hudson's still kind of filling some things out. Aaron had been the starter for umpteenth years, here, and he'd been here. He's prehistoric, and Hudson's been here, but it's really kind of like he's stepping out, saying, okay, like this is me, kind of looking around, and we're behind him, saying, hey man, we trust you, and we're behind you. Lead, and he's a leader, and I think he's still feeling out, having complete control, and he's doing a good job at it. And as the days go on, he's going to get better.
Was this the first time you remember Aaron being in practice since he got hurt?
Not since he's been hurt, but since he's gone away to train, yes.
When did you remember? Did he come to bowl practice or?
He was at, I think, one or two of those. But it's definitely the first time since he's gone out of state to train that he's been at practice.
What's the biggest improvement you've seen out of Hudson this spring?
I think it's the confidence. He can make all the throws, and I'm sure you guys have heard it. He can make all the throws. He can make the checks and things. And I think it's just realizing that he can make all those plays because he's got it in him. He made a play this past scrimmage where he threw the ball, and he actually threw it over J.J. Green, and J.J. thought he had a pick, but the ball kept going and right over the defense's head, and he fit it into the perfect spot, thread the needle. For a great play, and I think that kind of was a moment everyone kind of stepped back and was like, whoa, that was a big throw, because we knew that he could do that kind of thing, and he's just got to realize that he can do it and do it consistently, and when he does that, this offense is gonna light up because we have the tools.
Obviously there's two guys behind Hudson with Fatone and Bryce, and they're competing right now. What are you seeing out of those two guys?
I've seen a lot of competition. I don't think there's a clear front runner right now. I've seen both of them make great plays, and great plays of different types. I've seen, Fatone be able to zip the ball in there. I've seen a huge cannon out of Bryce. I've seen Fatone be able to do some different things on the offense, being live in the scrimmage and being able to run the ball as well as throw it, and just kind of keeping the defense on their heels. And so I've seen interesting things out of both of those guys, and as the spring and the summer continues, then we'll maybe see some things clear up.
How do the players approach G-Day? I mean, how big an event is it, or is it at all?
I think it becomes bigger once they split us up into teams and we figure out who we're going to be playing against, and then it becomes a pride thing. And we approach it just like it's a game. We don't really approach it like a practice. There are people in the stands you want to show out. You want to take pride in what you do, and that's the way you try to practice during the spring. And so hopefully the guys will take this seriously like they have in the past, and they'll compete, and we'll see who comes out on top.